Hey everyone, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Commander Cockings, and I think something is afoot. Something fishy, something Klingon-y. I don't know. Stuart, what are we looking at today?
Welcome to Conspiracy Trek, everyone, where we examine all the conspiracies from Star Trek. I'm just kidding. This is Trekyards. We're going to take a look at something specific from the last episode of Discovery, Choose Your Pain. Today's topic is exactly how the hell did Lorca get kidnapped by the Klingons?
So, Stuart, give us a scenario, and then what actually happened, and then we'll try and break down what maybe really happened. Because I didn't see it the first time through. I took it as face value, but actually, if you look at it, there's more than meets the eye here. So, what actually happened, Stuart?
It is very odd. Lorca was on a starbase consulting with different admirals. They were telling him to dial back his missions and specifically use of the spore drive because they didn't want the Klingons getting suspicious because Starfleet wants to install more spore drives. More units are being built. They want to implement them on more starships.
Yes.
We saw starships orbiting the starbase. Discovery was not one of them because later we see Lorca on a shuttle on the way to the Discovery, which is fine. The Discovery could be somewhere else. We know that their shuttles are warp capable. Maybe it just was about to go into warp, was just dropping out of warp, which seems more likely. But somewhere within Federation space, a Klingon D7 shows up and kidnaps Lorca. Seems kind of fishy. Oh, and then they get back across to to Klingon space at some point. So this must have been very near Klingon territory.
Now, obviously, we're not actually going against the story plot as being like this really sucks. No, we're having fun analysing, trying to think. There's probably something deeper here. You know, unlike last week when the 6 months was more of a plot hole, we think this is actually more of a plot intrigue, you know, something cleverer, and you know, we hope that in a few weeks we'll be proven right, and they can be like, haha, we told the audience and the internet. So what are some initial problems with this? Well, obviously, Lorca is the captain of a above secret. There's a specific communication that says above top secret.
Above top secret, yeah.
He's on a above top secret ship, one of two, now one of one, or at least one of one functioning, that is out doing covert missions, now successfully doing covert missions, that is the highest of the secrets. Now, by that logic, only a few admirals, maybe only the admirals in this room, would know about the ship, and about the mission, and about the technology. Mm-hmm. So they called him to this meeting, presumably in some either high security or just really far out of the way space station. He got there. He was leaving. So how exactly... First of all, did the Klingons know? First, he was the captain of Discovery. The Discovery was the ship. I mean, we know they probably know at this point Discovery is the ship through the sensor scans. That's fine. But how do they know he's the captain? How do they know he was going to the space station? And how do they know he was leaving? And where he was going to drop out of warp to? It's a lot of coincidences. And okay, let's assume there's nothing going on. And someone did postulate a theory to me. How would this make sense if the Klingons didn't know that he was there? Can we try and make that make sense at face value? Is there a way?
They intercepted a communication saying that Lorca was back on his way to Discovery. They're just monitoring ship-to-ship communications in nearby their territory, perhaps, and they caught on to it. And how they know it's Lorca and the Discovery are super important. We don't know they know that, but it did say later that Lorca was targeted specifically.
Yes.
But it could just be that as far as the Klingons know, he's just a captain, and if you can grab a captain, why not? Maybe they intercepted a transmission. Maybe there was some kind of communique or something that, you know, because they have mentioned spies. So I don't know if there's people working. We'll get into that discussion.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's people working on the starbase or infiltrated Federation space somehow, and are relaying information back. There might even be somebody on Discovery, which gave them the heads up. Captain's not here.
Now, it is worth saying that this episode has a lot of subtle stuff below the surface, and this whole week of videos we're going to look at all those different themes, and we don't want to go into all of them in this one because we're trying to be very focused, but if you please watch this entire week's worth of videos because they each delve into different parts.
They all interlaced together.
Yeah, this week is a very integrated week. Yeah, so someone said to me that we can assume that this station is on the edge of Klingon Federation space because we know the Discovery keeps jumping in. Although it wouldn't need to stay close to Klingon space, obviously, because it can jump anywhere in the galaxy. You'd think it would stay, maybe even at Earth. It doesn't need to be anywhere else. But if the space station was the edge of Klingon space, there is no neutral zone, we think at this point, it's just direct borders, then Klingon ships could be on the other side of the border, and if they are on the border, then Klingon ships might be patrolling the border near star bases, looking for ships and shuttles, and so they thought, hey, we'll steal the shuttle, because if a shuttle's going from A to B from the special star base, it might be something important. But like I said, it was a targeted thing. So it kind of blows that out of the water a little bit, and the communications is a good idea, but then would they be that lazy to send non-coded transmissions? And if they can send coded transmissions to get broken, then the Klingons are even smarter than we think, and the Federation really should be losing this war if they can't send coded communications to the most secret ship. And if they knew exactly where Discovery was going to be, why wouldn't they attack Discovery, which is a ship that isn't necessarily a very defensible ship? It's not got the most powerful weapons. And if it's that close to Klingon space, in warp jump distance with a shuttle from Starbase to it, the Klingon D7 could easily get to it. So I don't think it's a coincidence. I think we can put that under the table of there is a deeper plot here. I think that's fair to say.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So what's another problem with the way it happened?
Oh, first of all, Starfleet needs to have more than one pilot on their shuttles. This has been a problem twice now. But anyway, just the fact that it would have been within Federation space, and we have a D7, which is apparently one of their major ships.
Again, wait for Saturday. Inverted commas. Yeah. We have a full discussion about it. Don't worry.
Yeah. So D7 managed to infiltrate Federation space undetected, find the shuttle. So they must have known specifically where it was, not just he's out there in a shuttle going doing somewhere to somewhere. Because you would think Discovery's location would definitely be classified. The starbase not so much. So if you have a starting point, work out from there. Maybe you'd find the shuttle, but I think they specifically knew where it was. And then they had to get back across Federation space or the border back into their territory without being detected.
And right next
during wartime, I might add.
And easy warp distance from a starbase with 3 capital ships.
Yeah.
I mean, since a border is going to be the most guarded place with the most sensor buoys of the entire Federation, especially the active border, which clearly this is an active border if the admirals are meeting right there. So the starbase at least will have long range sensors that can detect areas. I mean, maybe we missed a moment. I mean, it would have been great if the admiral had said, we detected their entry into our space, but it was too late. We sent 3 ships to investigate, but they beat them across the border, and we didn't want to go after them. It would have been nice if they did that sort of thing. But the other problem with that scene, obviously, is that why was Lorca's ship out of warp? Because there's no reason to be out of warp. I mean, ships can go to warp for a long time, and why would it be 12 hours at high warp, maximum warp? There's only some amount of time you can be in warp. Why be more than that amount of warp from your ship? Especially when the ship itself can meet you, or it can spore drive in to where you are. They don't know about the ill effects of the tardigrade yet. So for it to be out of warp, and Lorca's just chilling out or doing anything, and the pilot doesn't seem concerned. So it's a very strange situation. I mean, if they've just left the space station, maybe they're waiting to go to warp, but then obviously they'd be just next to the space station. And if they were meeting Discovery, and Discovery was doing something else, and then meeting them. We've seen that in TNG, Picard goes to the rendezvous, but they've been on a side mission. But based on what happened after, they weren't. They were just hanging out. And at a planet as well. Now, if the scene would have been a lot stronger, I think, if the shuttle was at warp, and the Klingon ship came up to it at warp, and then disabled it, spiraled out of warp, and then they're all beamed up. Like, there'd be a much more action-y scene, which is what they're trying to get in the show, and make a lot more sense, because you can match warp speeds, because in that point you can have an A to B. If they know a Discovery is probably, well, again, depends how far this goes. If they know a Discovery is, know where the starbase is, there's a straight line, so they could find the ship based on that. But to pick the exact moment it's out of warp. Now, if obviously if the shuttle was not warp capable, like the TOS shuttles, they actually weren't, then that'd be fine. But they are. So unless that one isn't, but then why would you send them on the non-warp capable shuttle? Oh dear.
Yeah, it just raises way too many questions and red flags as either bad story writing or some kind of major plot convenience.
And this time, we don't think it's bad writing. There's something else going on. So what is our theory, Stuart?
Well, my theory, I don't know if it's your theory or not. My theory is that, as I mentioned earlier, there are active Klingon spies monitoring what's going on. And I think they're in key locations along the Klingon border. specifically a few star bases and 1 or 2 ships. I think maybe one of them has infiltrated Discovery, or soon will, and they're keeping an eye on it.
It's true. If you have someone on Discovery, they would know the shuttle route, probably, and they can probably gain access to it if they're that clever.
Mm-hmm.
So you think spies?
Yeah, I do. And you got to wonder how many people are actually that are on Discovery are aware of the spore drive specifically and how it operates. Because I think that might be a small cluster of people compared to the entire crew. Like, yeah, Black Alert, we know that stuff's going on, but we don't know what the actual details are. So I don't know. I think there's spies infiltrated. I think one of them is either on Discovery already or will be shortly. That's my take on it.
Now that's a really good idea, but the only problem with that though is that if there's already a spy on Discovery, they should already know about the spore drive, because as soon as they do one jump, they'll know. Wait, do we just go to this Klingon outpost? Straight away, they'll know that it can teleport that quickly, and they'll be able to work out. I'm pretty sure, murmurs are going to happen about what it is. Not everyone might know how it works, but the Klingons would know. Discovery, Lorca, Burnham, they would know all this stuff, and that feels like it's a bit too much for them to know straight away.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Yes, so I think that's why I said maybe one's coming to Discovery eventually. Maybe they just have them on star bases near the border now. Because if you look back at one of the images that we had from our full review, it's a shot of the map of the area. You see K7 on there and Rurapente. You also see Starbase 343, Starbase 157, all within very close proximity to the border. Now, I would assume that one of those, probably Starbase 157, based on its location, is probably where Lorca was. So maybe there are spies on Deep Space K7 and they got wind of something going on. I don't know.
Now, we have to then bring up briefly though, the theory that actually this new character, this Tyler character, is a Klingon spy. Either be actually the most important Klingon that we've seen so far, or someone else. Because the fact is, in Trials and Tribulations and Trouble with Tribbles, Aaron Darwin is a Klingon who's meant to look human. So that technology, that thing, is only 10 years away, and probably not new technology at the point. They've been at Cold War for a long time. So we know there are human-looking Klingons, and the fact that the augment virus, there should be smooth-headed Klingons. This range of potential Klingon-looking humans is the entire gambit of the range. So it would be easy to have Federation human-looking Klingons on this station. Spies.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the obvious spy thing. But then
we're going to talk about that more in detail in a specific video, I believe.
Yes, I'm just throwing it out there because we have thought about this, but we don't want to go into it too much. But my question then is, if you were sensible, and I think this might take away the Section 31 aspect, because if it was a Section 31, the secrecy of this and the transit is going to be like the people in this room and no one else. Like, they could hold this secret, So I don't think it's Section 31 now. I think that's probably either very lazy Section 31, but they weren't an Enterprise really, or whatnot. But my guess is maybe even this woman admiral that we've been put in, maybe she is part of the mission. She wants to stop the war quicker. If she can offer up Lorca, offer up Discovery, maybe. Double question: was the shuttle? Because we know it was docked in the D7 based on they open the outer hatch and the top hatch, so we know it's docked. Now, if you were Klingons, you wouldn't then release the shuttle. You would, download its data banks, get some basic telemetry of where the ship movements were around the Spal base, and remove the evidence. Then all the Federation would know, like you said, is that Lorca didn't arrive at the Discovery. Oh no. Is that Klingon space? We probably Klingon influence. We don't know anything. But for her to know means they probably either left the shuttle, which would be lazy, and they didn't delete the records of the engagement, also lazy, or it was a greater plan, perhaps. Maybe she was involved. Maybe she gave him to the Klingons to maybe get Tyler back. That's the other idea. I mean, what if the Klingons, they say the Klingons haven't had contact with the humans for so long, but maybe they actually have. They've had people infiltrate for decades just to get the Klingon Empire constant intelligence. A little bit strong of a thing if they weren't as fussed about us, but yeah, it's just very convenient, and it definitely speaks to spies.
Yeah, it does. And if you go back to the TOS era with the nature of the Cold War aspect between the Klingons and the Federation very much mirrors America and Russia during the 60s and 70s, and they had sleeper agents in America living as families, living as fully integrated Americans for years and years. They had families, they just had neighbors, and I think that's the situation here, which wouldn't be nice. It'd be a nice callback to that Cold War atmosphere, which you just want to keep an eye on your enemies, so...
And double that, but the Augment virus, it made a whole slew of people human-looking. Why wouldn't the Klingons turn around and say, oh, okay, they're a bit of an underclass now, or are they a spy class? I mean, what if the lady Klingon, what if she said she knows her house is all about spies and stuff. What if her house was one of the ones that were hugely affected by the Augment virus? She didn't. I mean, she got cranial reconstruction, as they mentioned in Enterprise. What if that was the obvious sin? Let's send a couple of hundred over the border at different times to get us. Wouldn't it be great to have one acting as a miner on the mining plan from last episode? So you can keep up to date with 40%. Spies, like I said, living for decades. It was quite a hefty plot, but it's very modern / modern is still those years ago, but modern tactics. Yeah.
So that's pretty much it for this episode, I think, guys. Unless you have something else to say.
Well, no. Basically, it was a targeted kidnap in a situation that shouldn't have and can't have happened, and knowledge on both sides that they can't have had just by whatever. So it's clearly a deeper plan, and the question just is it more on Starfleet side, knowing, unknowing, or is it Klingons? I mean, obviously you could solve that whole thing by saying it's a cloaked ship that was following him the whole time, and then again, how do they know? There's you could easily get around it, but it's kind of tricky at the same time, and I'm intrigued to see, because I hope it's going to be mentioned. I hope this isn't one of those plot points to just throw in, and it's like, but this doesn't make almost any sense, but hey, it happened, so that's fine. It's like,
yeah.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, though. It's meant to be a big flowing narrative. Things are going to start calling back, because we've now got a solid chunk of episodes. So,
Well, with that being said, it could just be a plot point, just so they can hit the stride and the pacing they want for the episode and not really think about it. We need to have this happen, so it happens. There's no explanation for it.
Then it
I hope not.
Yeah, it makes you appreciate original Trek writers that were pretty good at not having huge, ultimately glaring plot conveniences in the same huge way. Most of the time, anyway.
Yeah. There's a few you could fly starships through, but you know how it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, what do you think? Do you think this was set up? Do you think there's somebody on the inside? Why was he on a shuttle? Do you have an explanation that we don't know about? Let us know in the comments section below. We'd love to read them and love to hear.
They were the only ship in the quadrant. All the other ships went on a mission just beforehand.
Yes, that's exactly why. So if you want to help us out and have us create more of these videos, because we really look at everything that kind of in the episode that looks really suspicious or really cool, we're going to take a look at in video form and discuss a little bit more detail. So if you want to help us out, you can do that by clicking the link for the Patreon in our description below, heading over there and maybe giving us a monthly donation. That would be awesome. Or if you want to head over to Trekyards.com and give us a one-time donation, that's also very cool. Kind of a tip to say thank you for all that we do, and because we really love doing it for you guys as well. So, and if you want to help us out and you don't have any money, or you just can't afford it right now, which is fine. We totally understand. If you could just share it around and just tell anybody that you know that loves Star Trek about just Trekyards and share some of our videos, that'd be fantastic.
And the fact is, we're more than just a show. We're a whole channel that delves into a lot of different things, and we love looking at stuff and saying all different fan theories and whatnot. And our discussion, we're just like friends you've known for years discussing good Trek, and that's how we sort of approach this stuff. So yeah, tune in, enjoy, share, donate if you can, and thanks so much. And we'll see you next time for another look at this pretty intriguing episode.
Maybe you can kidnap me on my way to the next episode, because I'll be in a shuttle in the middle of nowhere.
Stuart, I think you should go to those coordinates for no reason.
Maybe I should fly over to Samuel for no reason and get kidnapped mid-flight by a UFO.
Just let me know your flight details and exactly when your place is.
Okay, will do. Until then, I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Commander Kongs.
Now I gotta go pack.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Reddy.